Hey friend, question. How would you like to get rich being a hacker? What? Chris, what you talking about? Hey, my name is Chris from ChrisNjigha.com, and in this very exciting episode today, I'm going to share with you some interesting tidbits that I picked up from an interview I recently checked out from Mike Dillard as he was interviewing a gentleman by the name of Walter OBrien, a.k.a. the Scorpion, all right? This guy has been known to be, is infamous for known being a prodigy genius. At the age of 9, he hacked into NASA, all right? So what can you learn from this guy and how to get rich? All right, well, stick around because I'm gonna share with you 3 things on how hacking people's lives can make you money, all right? Hey, if you don't know, this channel is all about empowering you, the home business entrepreneur, right? With the mindset and the skill sets to get results, start making more money, drive the breakthrough that you're looking for, and finally live the choice life you deserve, all right? So if you like that type of content, passive income, online business, making money online, then hey, give the video a like, consider subscribing to the channel. Hey, don't forget that bell too, all right? So you can be notified whenever I drop new videos around this type of content, which is pretty much on a Monday through Friday daily basis right now, all right? So let's get right into it, all right? So if you don't know who Walter OBrien is, you probably do if you ever watched the show Scorpion, all right? So there was a show on CBS called Scorpion. It's pretty much based off of this dude's life, all right? And so essentially, let me just go, we can just go here so you can know what I'm talking about. So this is Walter OBrien. Essentially, I was listening to this interview from Mike Dillard, was talking about just kind of sharing some tips that the guy was talking about in terms of how and what he's been able to do in his life, all right? So like I said, he's considered to be a child prodigy. At the age of 9, he basically hacked into NASA and stole some of their shuttle blueprints. Yeah, and he had an IQ of 190 something, 197, which is pretty high. I actually didn't check to see how that compares to others, but apparently that's pretty high. And he's gone on to do a whole lot of different things by creating basically what you saw on the show, a team of other geniuses that basically solve a bunch of different problems, different issues, all right, that people have. And so you can see he's done quite a bit of work, and he created this company called Scorpion. So essentially, what Scorpion is basically a group of people that will solve any problem, and they work for a lot of different companies. They work for government. They even created some type of like artificial intelligence that helps them develop scenarios to a bunch of different problems. And one of the cool things too that Mike Dillard talked about was this thing that they call about funded problems. So essentially they'll like fix your problem. So if you have like an issue, I don't know if you ever watched the show like Leverage, where people have these problems, like, you know, problems that can't be solved by the police or by anybody, right? And they're just like these just crazy problems, like maybe I don't know, like your husband is super rich and powerful and he's beating you and taking over and taking your children. You can't do anything about it, right? These are the kind of the people you would call because they have all the resources. They have the engineers, the technicians, the physicians, the lawyers, the actors, everybody on staff to basically create the solution for any problem you can think of as long as you have money, right? So this is what they're kind of talking about, different things. If you need help planning your future or building a business or coming up with an idea, they'll basically think it up for you. And essentially, there's a bunch of people, including Mike Dillard, who give raving testimony that this stuff works. So I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first heard this, I was like, really? Is this for real? But Mike Dillard said it was real. Mike Dillard experienced it, all right? All right, so I'm gonna share with you about 3 things I learned when listening to this interview about how you can get rich and make a lot of money with these 3 different ideas that I think is pretty powerful. And this is coming from a genius, right? And the first thing was that I learned was, number 1 is that there is always a solution, all right? A solution for every problem you can possibly think of. There is always a solution. And the way that you get to it is by what? Thinking. Thinking creatively. You know, I used to like, you know, because I'm in healthcare and I used to think that, you know, if it wasn't about science and math, that it was a waste of time. You know, what do you doing dancing and singing and writing and acting and creating music? That's for weak, wacky people, right? And that's so far from the truth. You know, I mean, I just come to learn, realize that it's so powerful, the ability to be creatively and be able to think of solutions when there isn't a problem. You know, being able to like find ideas where there may not seem like there's anything you can do. And I think a lot of times we start to get so down on ourselves and get so negative. Oh my goodness, I'll never find a way. I'll never find a solution. There's no answer. And we just fall into this grief. And there's a book that I read by Dr. Joe Dispenza. And he talks about in that book about how the way the world works is a world of infinite possibilities. Infinite possibilities. I mean, whatever thing you can think of, it's that you can think of and imagine, it's possible. It can occur. You know, it can occur, it can happen. And but you just have to believe and think about what that might be and let the higher power in the universe bring that solution to you. You know, so you may not believe, oh, that's mumbo jumbo, but hey, once again, I'm telling you that these are how the rich and the super successful think. You know, they always know there's a solution, always. For example, in the interview, O'Brien tells Mike Dillard about how a situation about a billionaire's son, you know, a billionaire's son who wanted to get married to this Ukrainian woman who was basically just wanting to take advantage of him. You know, she was a gold digger, just trying to get her papers, get into the U.S. and all of that, and then she was going to divorce him. But the billionaire couldn't talk to his son because their relationship was like no bueno, right? It was no good. So this billionaire went to O'Brien and was like, dude, this is my problem, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about. He's like, I don't have a solution. I can't even think of a possible solution. I don't want my son to marry this woman. This is a bad idea. And so his team comes up with this brilliant strategy, basically something you would think you would see on TV, okay, about how they're able to basically let the woman they train the dad on what he should say and what he should not say to his son to not drive him away, and they allow this woman to like basically create her own rope and hang herself with it. You know, at the end of the day, I think she said that she thinks that they get married. They stays this entire thing where she thinks they get married. As soon as she gets married, she files for paperwork. The son is like can't believe it, but oh, by the way, you know, it was a fake wedding. And so, like, it ends up being well. So the whole point is that there's always a solution, even no matter how difficult it is in your business, or in your life and the challenges, there is always a solution, and you should definitely have the mindset to think on it. Number two idea that is going to help you get rich big time. I mean, this is a big one right here, is that as an entrepreneur, you must be willing, and I say willingly admit that you are not the smartest. You are not the smartest. You know what the biggest problem for many of us as solo entrepreneurs is coming to the realization that you need help. You don't know it all. You can't do it all, you know? And this was a big one for me. You know, Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in his cash flow quadrants. You know, he said the biggest problem with the S, and that's where they are in that quadrant. There's the employee, there's the business, and this is the investor. The biggest problem with the S right here is that they think they know it all. They have to be perfect with everything. Nobody can do it as well as them. And you know, in the world of business, that does not work that way. It does not work that way. You have to be willing to know when you need help and be willing to ask for it. Be willing to get it. Because at the end of the day, no big project, nothing of significant impact was ever done by one person. Nothing was never done by one person. It was always a group effort. It was always a team approach, always. And so it's kind of one of those things that's really, really challenging in the beginning, especially because you feel like nobody can do it, or you feel like maybe you can't hire anybody, you know? I think O'Brien talked about it in the interview about how At the end of the day, they offer services that help people solve very, very huge problems, or the problems that are huge to them that they cannot find an answer to. They save you time and money. You know, from what and at the end of the day, you have to decide whether or not there's three things. First of all, you have to come to the realization, number one, that you have a problem. Right? You must admit that you have a problem. Can't do anything if you don't do that. Number two, you must be willing to ask for help for your problem, right? Because that's a huge step. Being able to ask for help for your problem once you've realized your problem. Then, number three, you must be willing to invest for the help in your problem. All right. All of these are three significant steps that he talks about. Hey, I can't help you past those three things. He's like, I'm here. You know, this is me right here. Once you get here, then we are ready to go. But if you can't get to that point as an entrepreneur, you're gonna always be stuck solving really, really big problems by yourself. And last I checked, two minds are significantly, exponentially greater than one mind. Yes? You know, it was interesting because Mike Dillard talked about how he had a problem, and I think if you follow Mike Dillard, he talks about how he had this hydroponic service, hydroponic plant thing, technology that he was doing, where he was trying to grow food, and he was trying to solve this problem with food, organic, clean food for a reasonable price for people, and he ran into like a major wall where he could not figure it out. He called O'Brien. He called them. He saw them. I think he said that he found his services watching Tim Ferriss's podcast or listening to Tim Ferriss's podcast. Called the man. What was costing Dillard, like I think he said it cost him like hundreds of thousands of dollars to try to figure this out. He couldn't figure it out in over a year. He was able to, O'Brien's team was able to figure it out for a fraction of the cost in 3 months. If you ask Mike Dillard, was it worth it, the money he spent to figure it out in 3 months, he'll tell you, hell yeah, all day, every day, right? Because it comes down to realizing what is your value. You know, what is the value of the things that you own? Your money is a source of value. Your time is a source of value, right? Your skills and abilities is a source of value. So you got to weigh these options to determine what's most valuable. If you ask me, time is your most valuable asset. That's your most valuable. So if you can trade money to get more time back, I think you should probably do that, at least if you're a true B, according to Robert Kiyosaki. If you're willing to trade your time for more money, then you're simply an S if you work for yourself, and you're an employee if you work for someone else. So huge, huge tips if you're trying to get rich and make money. And then lastly, the third thing that will make you rich, can make money for you, that I think it can, is that I took from this interview was that, man, if you've got kids, you should really consider them getting into what do you call it? Getting into computer science, man. Dude, like having them learn how to code, because dude, if you think about it, the age we live in is a digital age. This is information. It's just like everything on the internet. All these software companies you see, all these different internet platforms you see happening. It's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get more and more and more consumed. Our world will be more consumed with technology, even more and more. And I just think that if your child can code, right? It's a skill set. It's a skill set that is powerful, because not only can it give them temporary work as a job if they need it, but it also can allow them to be massive entrepreneurs and get rich. Get rich. I mean, I know so many software engineers and coders who are making so much money right now, having created platforms and tools and marketing strategies and things like that that are helpful, that are helping people, creating leverage, creating time freedom, creating a huge amount of income and an impact in people's lives, just because they know how to create code. So that's one of those things that I think if you want, you yourself can invest in the skill set. It's never too late to learn that skill set. Never. or at least make sure you get your kids in there. Set them up right. And that's one of the big things that I know I'm doing for my little boys because, hey, they don't have a choice when they're younger, so I'm just going to put it on them so that they can learn it and they can decide what they want to do with it later on in their lives. But at least, hey, guess what? You have that skill set. That's something that can help you. So that's it, my friend. That right there was 3 tips and 3 strategies on how to make money, get rich, based on the real life Scorpion himself, Walter OBrien. Like I said, the interview, if you want to check it out, Mike Dillard's interview, I'll leave a link to his podcast in the description below. Awesome interview, just great. It'll just expand your mind and what you think is possible. And hope you enjoyed it. Hope that was helpful. All right. So if you did, hey, give the video a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. And hey, by the way, check out this video right here if you want to learn. Check out more videos on how to make money online on my channel. All right. And so until the next exciting episode, my friend, be blessed. Stay hungry. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.